Um, okay, so hello everyone. I am connecting from Nigeria. My name is Lami Gidado. I'm the president of the Association of Play Therapy, and I have a special guest here from Australia. I'll just let her introduce herself.
Okay. Um, Hello, everyone, and thanks for having me, Lami, to be part of this. My name is Lois Kidmas, and I am a mother, I'm a wife, and also a lecturer and teacher here. I, yeah, we've been here in Australia for what, over quite some years now. Hard to count. But it's I've had the privilege of working across all the sectors actually within education here in Australia. Starting my career here as an early childhood educator, all
Hmm.
the way now to tertiary education. So I count it quite a privilege to be able to draw from those experiences, especially during my lectures. It's been very powerful and meaningful. I still do relief teaching
Hmm.
in some of the schools, so I stay in touch with reality and what happens in the
Hmm.
classrooms, and especially because I love working with children too. So I like to get that break to be able to do that.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
so that's pretty much about me. Yeah, I'm married. I've got three adult children, and yes, I think that's pretty much me.
Hmm.
I did my PhD many years, well, how many years back now in education,
Hmm.
and yeah, I've just been. I love this space, and um, I'm really thankful for the opportunity to share and be part of this play week.
Yeah. It's so interesting. I don't think I've met anyone who has taught in all the sectors from early years all the way to university. That's so interesting, and kudos to you. Yeah, so I mean, so I'm sure we're talking to the right person, because we're talking about we're celebrating the International Day of Play. And so we're talking about the theme for this year, which is protect play, protect childhood. And so what has been your experience, especially in Australia? What's the experience like? What does play look like?
Okay. Yeah, that's yeah, really good question. Just looking back from even from early childhood, in Australia, play is embedded as part of the curriculum.
Mm,
I teach now in the graduate diploma of early childhood. Funny enough, um,
interesting.
um, I didn't know that would come back for me, but and we've been looking at our curriculum and seeing we've got a special curriculum just for early childhood, along with
Hmm.
the Australian national curriculum. And the one for early childhood specifically uh, kind of guides early childhood educators to thinking about really how to work with this younger generation. And the big part of that curriculum is play. Play-based
Hmm.
learning is powerful, as in play is not just an add-on. It's actually it's something we embed into the curriculum and do. So um so how does it meaningfully look? And the beauty of it is that, sometimes children don't even know that they're learning as because play is a natural thing for them. So it's us as teachers. He's able to hold this, or no, he's able to do this, he's able to do that. But for them, they're just having fun, you know. As they grow older, they begin to see, some kind of learning in it. But from those early years, it's really just, oh, that's what we do. We just play. And
Yeah.
so, what a natural way for us to really help students learn. in a very meaningful and helpful way without it being so learning seen as a very hard and difficult thing, separate from what they're used to. And that's the challenge as we grow. Sometimes as we go into the older year groups, we begin to think, oh, these children don't need play. And I think that's wrong because in my classrooms, I've tried to some kids actually would may not engage, but once you change the whole the experiences you provide and do it from a lens of play, you find them, really engaging.
Yeah.
Kids that maybe were disconnected before, really
Yeah.
engaging in the lessons and all that. So I see players all the way across. And I think, Lami, the example I was giving,
Mm-hmm.
sharing with you earlier was
Yeah.
about my kids. Yes. So in the school where I did a lot of my teaching, my children went to that school too. It's a K to 12
Mm-hmm.
school.
Mm-hmm.
And we had, all the facilities you can think of outdoors and indoors for primary school.
Mm-hmm.
But in our secondary area, it wasn't happening. And I remember my kids, so I guess, I don't know, they probably missed that and never voiced it. But when they came back, they finished now from the schools, they're all at
Yeah.
uni. But when they came back to visit their school, came back on holidays and went to see their school, they saw this whole new structure outside. And they were like, oh no, that's not fair. How come they get to have a playground? No, 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 no. you know. And I was like, as older kids, do you really need a playground? Says, yeah, mom, it's really important. And the feedback we're getting from that space is that it's not just a break time where children at lunchtime are hanging out there. No, 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 no. We see teachers actually deliberately using those spaces to take their children out and engage with those through those experiences, maybe even climbing experience. You'd be surprised that they are able to still learn, connect their lessons to those, and learning becomes more meaningful. So yeah, that was the
Yeah.
example I was sharing.
That's so great. And I like what you said about it's across, the grades. It's not, I think there's that misconception that play is just for children in the early years. I
Yeah, yeah.
remember, some children in a particular school here in Jos where I live, they mentioned
Mm.
who their favorite teacher was, and it was like they let's give the award to this person. She's the best teacher. And I had to ask her, why do you think they call you the best?
Why?
And she said she thinks it's because she
Mm.
starts her classes with a joke. She always comes with a joke, even if it is not a funny joke, but then she has reduced the tension because she taught them maths and
Mm.
chemistry. And you know what
Mm.
what people think about maths and chemistry, but you can imagine
Yeah,
you've
yeah.
reduced their anxiety and you've opened them up to learning. So
Oh,
so that's
yes.
so
Yeah.
that's something that is so great.
Mm.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Yeah.
what would you say to countries that think that play is a waste of time, especially in
Oh, I
education?
mean, yeah, especially like I definitely relate with what that story you just shared from
Yeah.
Jos Lami.
Mm-hmm.
Growing up in Nigeria myself,
Mm-hmm.
learning was you either get it or you don't get it. And play is not what? How can you be playing when you should be learning?
Yeah.
You know, it's totally not acceptable.
Mm-hmm.
But having lived here and worked in this space, it's been a total shift of a total shift of a mindset of my mindset in terms of, this is actually a natural thing. I always go back to the fact that this is a God-given natural way
Mm-hmm.
that children are brought up. Why do we end up diminishing that? Or why do we end up, kind of stopping that
Yeah.
from continuing? And then it's funny how later on, though, as adults will say, oh, bring out your playful self. Sometimes we say that as adults. We want to go back
Yes.
to our childish and playful ways.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like, why did we even leave that to start with? You know,
Mm.
because there's so many benefits in that.
Yeah.
It's very powerful because, like you said, one way to reduce stress, is
Mm-hmm.
for kids in subjects like chemistry, maths,
Mm-hmm.
any
Mm-hmm.
subject for that matter,
Mm-hmm. Mhm.
Kid can just be so disengaged and not even getting it. But if you make it a fun, um, an interactive, playful way to learn, then the child sees the meaning of it and actually remembers that more. Learning is not just um, done to them; they're part of it, and they feel that connection with it. So I think those countries who are not doing play, I think they should get on board. I
Yeah.
think it stands to benefit the children and the society at
Mhm.
large. The whole, like with indigenous people. I just want to touch a little bit about that.
Uh-huh.
Based on the questions I had earlier, I was
Yeah.
just thinking the indigenous learning is play is a way of knowing for them. It's a way generational information or
Mm,
um, is
mm,
passed on. It is
mm,
passed on through play.
mhm.
So you're teaching them they through play. They're able to teach their kids survival,
Yeah.
emotional intelligence, and
Yeah.
regulation.
Yes.
Some of those powerful lessons that you cannot teach a child even in the classroom.
Mm.
So it's play for them. They play it's a powerful way to strengthen resilience.
Yeah. Yeah.
As we teach
Mm,
children who they are, because yeah,
mm.
who they are is very important, where they belong to, and how to navigate challenges. Play is it just yeah it can break down all those barriers and really
Yeah.
help children connect in that way.
Mm,
Hmm.
that's so powerful. So I
Mm.
hear that the indigenous people, they use play to
Mm.
preserve
Mm.
culture
Oh, culture. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
also teach survival skills. It's I mean
Mm-hmm.
that's so powerful, and I think that it's something that we're losing. Children are losing identity because they are not allowed to play as they should play. So yeah, so thank you.
Mm.
That's really powerful.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
how is play even maybe not even just in Australia, as you
Yeah.
think about governments, like
Mm-hmm.
how can policies protect play? You know,
Mm.
um, I feel so sad sometimes when you look at the UN um, Child Development Index, you
Yeah.
see that
Yeah.
the countries that are so low in child development, like policies are not thinking about children. What would you say
Mm.
to government,
Yeah.
to people
Yeah.
who make policies concerning protecting childhood and protecting play?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Oh, I guess it shows in those governments and those societies, the
Mhm.
ripple effect of not protecting that. You see a breakdown in societal values. You see a breakdown
Mhm.
in the way society functions. And I think, yeah, there is, and if already we can see those, clearly, a breakdown in those structures.
Mhm.
But countries that do foster and cater for their young people, I mean,
Mhm.
this is the future. This is the generation we're not going to be here,
Yeah.
um, you know,
Mhm.
forever. We are passing down. So if we stop taking care of these people now, or we don't put in policies to protect and care for our young people, we're saying we don't care for our future. We don't care for our now. We don't care for our future. And that's pretty much the message. I think it passes when there are no policies in place to protect that. I think in Australia has overall done a good job. There's still work to be done. When I think of countries like Switzerland, Sweden, Australia has some way to go. But in terms of hearing the voice and of children or caring for that sector, I think they're doing well compared to where I've come from. Compared
Yeah.
to Nigeria, I believe that
Yeah.
they are doing really well.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's always room for improvement, but even recently, So let me give you an instance. Very practical
Mhm.
example is the curriculum I talked about.
Yeah.
Even our curriculum, the way it's structured, one, our curriculum is accessible to everybody to start with. Parents, whoever you are, anybody,
Mm.
just go online, Australian curriculum, you access that freely. So parents, what does that say? Parents, we are open. We
Mm.
want you to have a say in the
Mm.
education of your kids. Because as
Mm.
a parent, if I look at the
Mm.
curriculum and my child comes back
Mm.
home and that's not what they're teaching you, I'll be
Mm.
questioning what's going on,
Mm.
you know?
Mm.
But I remember when I did my research work in Nigeria, I struggled even to find the curriculum, the Nigerian curriculum, and I
Yeah.
was just like, seriously, I need to
Mm.
be able to access this. I want to see what's there. I need to be able to, um, eventually I got to it, which was great. But even when I looked at the curriculum, I felt it was again very, very play is not even mentioned there. Like it's,
Mm.
like I'm not sure. I have to look at it again. Correct me if I'm wrong. But the way, like
Play
I said, we
in the
even
current curriculum, sorry, in the current
okay,
curriculum, play is clearly there. Like it's there.
good. That's
It's just
great.
that we
Okay.
don't follow it.
Follow it, which
Hmm.
is very sad,
Yeah.
I
Mm.
mean, you can't stand up and be teaching without knowing the curriculum. No, no, no. It can't
Mm.
happen,
Mm. Mm.
Um, you know, so I feel like there are many the stakeholders involved in this
Mm.
are everybody's aware. And so everybody's trying to hold everyone accountable for
Mhm.
whatever. So, and which may
Mhm.
not be the case, I don't know, in Nigeria, where how involved our parents are
Yeah.
in their kids' education. How involved is the government? Because this is, if there is a curriculum change or any changes made, is a whole you need to see the whole process of getting
Yeah.
maybe an aspect of the curriculum to change. It's not just the government sitting up there and making that change. No,
Right.
teachers
Right.
are involved. Everybody, they do a whole thing.
Mhm.
So I think the stakeholders also being
Mhm.
actively involved in that process and
Mhm.
showing to the government we value this matters to
Mhm.
us, so we're going to
Mhm.
hold you accountable for this. And again, the government also holding teachers and parents accountable for what's happening. It's a like a everyone needs to, it's
Yeah.
a collaborative
Involved.
effort, that
Right.
everyone needs to do. And then,
Yeah.
like I was saying, in the early years curriculum, play, I mean, it's there, it's play-based. Even in the main Australian curriculum with the higher grades, it is embedded there. Teachers are expected to connect and teach in that way. So
Mhm.
there is already an established expectation that needs to be followed. And
Mm. Mm.
so I'll give another example in terms of recently there's this whole, because technology has taken over our young people, sadly,
Mhm. Yeah.
and Australia, I think, is one of the first countries that
Yeah.
introduced a ban
A ban. Yeah.
on phones and internet use of children under is it
15.
13
Is
or the
it
16? Yes,
16? Yeah.
yes, under
Mhm.
16.
Mhm.
All right. It
Yeah.
is a test. It is testing everybody. It's
Yeah. I can
testing
imagine.
teachers. It's testing everybody. But
Yeah.
it's a step in the right direction, I believe.
Right.
Would
Right.
kids find their ways around it? Yes, of course, they'll
Yeah.
find their ways. But does
Mhm.
it have, just this week, they were doing a report. They were analyzing the data from this. What's the benefit? What have we seen so far? We've seen a significant drop in anxiety rates, in people connecting with
Yeah.
children, engaging in just silly acts, but and a higher rise of connection now. Children are involved in games. They're doing lots of activities, connecting with their families and all that. I was just
Excellent.
like, wow, okay, this is just the beginning days of this. Yeah, there are challenges,
Wow.
but the government, took it upon itself. And
Yeah.
and 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 in line, it started from a parent whose
Hmm.
child died from being bullied online.
Wow. Wow.
And he
Hmm.
gathered petitions and everything, went to
Hmm.
government house, and this is
Hmm.
how this thing really took
Hmm.
off. It
Hmm.
was from a parent. It started
Hmm.
from, a tragedy, sadly,
Yeah.
but you can see we're moving hopefully in the right
mm,
direction. I mean, they still show, even from the data, they were talking about, some kids still finding other ways to get online. But the whole idea is like, instead of forcing it on parents, because I found it hard as a parent, where
mm,
I was trying to find ways to, block the internet, or do this, and just so I can keep my kids safe. I was struggling. I'm not an IT specialist, you know. So take that burden off the
yeah.
parents and put it back onto those platforms, the owners of those sites. If they
Mm,
don't
mm,
block these children, they'll be
mm,
fined. That's that's
mm,
that's it's as simple as that. That's what's happening, and that's why
mm,
it's working. you know
mm, mm,
so it's early days for this, but
mm.
I'm just using that even as a small example of, I
Yeah.
feel like there is some care of our young people for the future. We
Mm,
Technology can't take over their minds. We can't keep losing them to online bullying. We can't keep, so some kind of action has happened in that, and I
yeah.
think those are things
Mm,
that we need in other
mm,
places, where we
mm.
stand up for our younger people.
Yeah,
um
yeah. Yeah, I mean,
Mm,
screen time can have its negative effects. I
mm,
remember when
mm.
my kids were younger, when we moved into our new house, um, we we didn't have a TV for about a year, you know.
Wow.
Yes, we had just returned from the
Wow.
UK, so
Yes,
priorities and
yes.
everything. So we didn't have
Yeah,
a
yeah,
TV. They
yeah.
would find other things to do. They would go
To do.
outside, they would play, they
Yeah,
would run
yeah.
around. I mean,
Mm-hmm,
even without toys, they would
mm-hmm,
just
hmm.
imaginative play and all of that. So
Yes, yes.
yeah, children need, I mean, there should be a replacement, of course, so there's
Mm, yes.
play and games and other activities. I mean,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
that
mm-hmm.
is so awesome, and I hope that other countries would take it on.
Oh,
But
yeah,
what,
yeah.
yeah, what I've heard you say is everyone needs to be involved, not just the government,
Yes.
the
Mm-hmm,
parents,
mm-hmm,
the teachers.
mm-hmm,
Um,
mm-hmm.
yeah, so
Mm,
that sounds
mm.
really great.
I think it's a collective effort. We
Yeah.
are we're quick to blame the government, but
Yes.
we're part of that system. We need to
Right.
rise up and actually make our voices heard. And it's
Yeah.
about, maybe like this thing I'm telling you about, it
Mhm.
actually started with one parent, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then other parents started saying how their kids were, committed suicide because of online bullying,
Mm,
committed this. It wasn't just her facing
mm,
that problem.
right.
And then there was the whole
Mm,
voice. Even if you didn't face it,
mm,
even if your child didn't die, you still struggled as a parent. I know I struggled,
mm-hmm.
where I'm like, no, you shouldn't be on this website. I'm
Yeah.
busy monitoring, and I don't
Yeah.
even know how to monitor properly, you
Yes.
know?
Yes. Yes.
So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think, yeah, it is a collective voice to be part
Right.
of the solution and not be just sitting there waiting for the government to do something for us.
Yeah, thank you, Lois. I mean, it's one reason
Worries.
why
Mm,
the Association of Play Therapy is doing this, so that we can
mm,
create more awareness on the importance of play. And we hope
mm,
that parents and teachers and stakeholders would run
mm,
with it. Thank you so
mm.
much for
No
doing this.
worries.
Um,
It's
yeah,
been a
so
privilege. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
exciting. Yeah, it is.
Thank you.
Yeah, play is powerful, and we can't let it die. Those are
Right.
those are my few words there, that we all
Mm,
need to be actively. Bring that playful person
yes,
back.
yes.
Those
Even the adults, right? We need
as
to bring
adults,
it
we
back.
all have
Yeah,
it in us. Yeah, we all
yes.
have it in us.
Yeah, yeah,
And yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
no worries. Thanks for
Thank
having
you.
me. And
Yeah.
yeah,
All right.
alrighty. Are
Thank
you
you,
still recording?
everyone.
Oh,
Um, Hold on.